All right, everybody, we're ready to go for a drive and see how she runs. So we're in normal. We'll switch it to, my favorite mode, Sport Plus, later, but let's see how she goes. I know what I've read about this car from other reviews, so I'm not going to say that now. I kind of want to see if I agree with it. Even in normal mode, I barely have the gas pedal pushed down, and it wants to go. There's no hesitation. There's not a turbo lag. There's not a supercharger lag. It's almost instantaneous. One of the things I have noticed is the raised, I guess what I would call wheel wells on each side, and I think that looks pretty cool, even from not only from the outside, from the outward appearance perspective, and making this look like a supercar, and making it look more noticeable and intimidating. But just, I like seeing it while I'm driving here. I think it really looks good. Yeah, she's quick. Even in normal mode, you can feel the acceleration. You can feel it wanting to push you back some. There's not a lot of road noise at all. It's taking the bumps very well. It's just kind of gliding over them. Obviously, that might change a little when you get into Sport Plus and the dampers stiffen up and the chassis lowers some. But, in normal mode, definitely for everyday driving, city driving, it's very good. Steering, like I said, I like the thicker steering wheel. It feels good, especially on performance vehicles. It's good leather, good stitched leather. Seat is comfortable. I do like the high back. I can put my head back if I want to. Don't have to worry about adjusting a, adjustable head or neck rest or anything. As you just saw, I switched it over to Sport Plus. So it's automatically lowering the chassis, the dampers are automatically stiffening, and yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I've been waiting on. This thing takes off. Sounds a little bit like a airship taking off as you give it the business going up. Definitely pushed my head back. I'm definitely looking forward to doing a draggy on this and making sure I put that video in here for y'all to see. But that was what I was waiting on. Don't get me wrong, everyone. I love the V8s. I love the turbocharged 6s. I'm a horsepower junkie as much as anybody. But for pure pedal to gas efficiency and putting the power down on the pavement, the EVs do beat the internal combustion engines when it comes to that. I mean, you don't have any lag. You don't have any pedal lag. I got a pedal commander on my truck to get rid of the pedal lag, which helps out a lot. It's great. I love it. But you don't have any of that with an EV. And to be a performance car, or we'll say performance sedan, like I said, it drives really well. This road isn't perfect. It's got some bumps and thumps here and there, but this car is not having any issues with it. You can tell, you can tell the dampers are a little stiffened, which is not a bad thing. That's what you want. I keep my truck because I can adjust, no matter what setting I'm in, I can adjust the exhaust, dampers, and steering to whatever mode I want, even if I'm in normal. And I always keep my shocks in sport mode and my steering in sport mode anyway, because I like a tighter steering wheel and I like a stiffer ride. Unless I'm on the interstate, then I'll change it over to comfort or normal. But so one of the things I read about this car was it drives smaller than it is. This car is over 5,100 pounds, which is heavy, fairly heavy for a sedan, but EVs tend to be heavier. It's got like a 114-inch wheelbase, or length. I think the wheelbase is actually 74 inches. But it doesn't drive that heavy or big. Like coming around here, you give it a little bit of gas, you go around the corner. I don't feel any roll. It takes the corners very well. I don't feel any roll at all. So it definitely drives smaller and more agile than what it is. And that's what you want in something like this. If you held a gun to my head and asked me which car drove better, the Porsche Panamera, which I did a review on that you can check out on my channel a couple of weeks ago, the GTS with the turbocharged V8, or this, you would probably just have to shoot me, because I really couldn't tell you which one drives better. They both drive phenomenal. This will do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, an 11.7 in the quarter, top speed 155 miles an hour. So it'll give you all the performance you're looking for if you want a souped up sports car or a quote unquote everyday supercar. And I'm not saying everyone should buy an EV. Hell, I drive a Raptor, so I'm not driving an EV. However, don't make judgments on a vehicle until you go out and test drive one. I ain't saying buy one, just go test drive it. Granted, we're in the South, so the electrical infrastructure is not as strong as it would be in California or Washington State, and that's perfectly understandable too. But that being said, if you're in a position to where you can get it charged and you have that capability in your house, and you're in a city where there's adequate charging stations, and especially to me, going around the city, doing city driving and have something fun to drive, or taking short 2-3 hour trips with something, this is definitely something that you can consider and have fun driving. If I had the money for a third vehicle and I just wanted something to have fun driving around Huntsvolt and out to Madison and maybe down to Birmingham and back and just giving it hell and giving it the business, yeah, I'd have no problems driving this vehicle at all. Now, I've said this before in my other videos, the worst thing that could have happened to an EV is the Prius. Because the Prius came out, low power, everybody thinks you have to have a certain lifestyle or be what they would call a tree hugger to get an EV. And things like that, and 0 to 60 in 12 seconds or whatever. I'm telling you right now, I've done the F-150 Lightning, I've done this, I've done the i4 for BMW, I've done the Mach GT, and every one of those cars was fun as hell to drive. They all had a ton of power, a ton of torque. I've done the Rivian. The Rivian has 835 horses and 900 pound-feet of torque. Hell, a NASCAR has 850 horsepower. So, So the worst thing that could have ever happened to an EV was the Prius coming out first. I stand by that statement. That like killed the EV marketing campaign. But yeah, if you have a friend that has an EV, or you think you might want to go test drive one, just go to the dealership and test drive one. And as far as from a fun aspect, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right. With that said, that closes the, I guess what I would call the daily driver part of the driving experience. So I'm going to talk to Ray, the owner, and we're going to plan where we're going to hook up the Draggy, and we're going to do some 0 to 60 and maybe an eighth, depending on how much runway we got. And we'll go from there. So we'll see y'all in a little bit.